I slowly opened my eyes and saw a green-skinned monster with a big head and limbs thin as kindling shaking me hard. Gobro, wake up, it's time to eat. I looked at that ugly goblin face, felt nothing at all, and even wanted to close my eyes and keep sleeping. This dream was pretty convincing. But the next second, the guy just grabbed me and dragged me outside. A sharp pain shot through my arm. Wait, pain? I shot my eyes open and looked down to see a pair of equally green, skinny arms. My mind went blank instantly. Did I transmigrate into a goblin? I used to always complain that life was going badly, but now it was even better. I wasn't even human anymore. Before I could fully process that fact, the goblin had already grown impatient and swung a punch at me. I reflexively took a step back and landed a right straight punch squarely in his face. Bang! He dropped it once, and when he got back up, his eyes were full of fear. What did you just tell me to do? I asked. His voice was shaking. Eat, lead the way. I followed him, silently saying, System, are you there? A semi-transparent status panel popped up instantly. I let out a sigh of relief. As long as there's a system, a goblin like me can survive in this world. The panel was straightforward. Name, Gobro race, goblin template, common level, 1/20th stamina, 3, strength, 3, agility, 2, spirit, 4, charm, 0 skill, critical hit LV1 talent, devour, gain experience by eating monsters or human corpses, monster language free simulation attempts. Once seeing the word simulation, I knew what was up. But I wasn't sure what would happen to my body during the simulation, so I didn't dare start it here. I called out to him. Gobro, I need to take a dump. You go ahead first. Who knew this guy would say with complete certainty? Why the rush to take a dump? You can eat and crap at the same time anyway. We only get one meal a day? His stupid face was full of sincerity. My mouth twitched, and I firmly said I had to go right now. So he had no choice but to leave first. After he left, I immediately slipped back into the cave where I'd woken up earlier. There weren't any other goblins here, so it should be safe. System, start life simulation. First life simulation begins, in the first year. My name is Gobro. I'm an ordinary monster in a goblin tribe on the outskirts of the beast forest. The leader is a troll, strong but unbelievably lazy, dumping everything on us. Hunting and robbing females from other races, those were all on us. In my past life, I'd at least received 9 years of compulsory education, so my brain was way better than this group of idiots. During hunts, I always charged at the back. At mealtimes, I always rushed to the front. I secretly trained my skills on the side. Those honest goblins working themselves to the bone either died in hunts or ended up crippled. A year later, I reached level 5 and critical hit LV3, becoming the top dog among the goblins. The troll didn't care at all about my changes, and I didn't dare get arrogant either, fully aware I was still far from its match. In the second year, I reached level 8, with critical hit LV7. Mid-year, the troll suddenly disappeared for several days, and I didn't make any reckless moves. When it came back, I was glad I hadn't done anything stupid. In the third year, I reached level 11, and critical hit was trained to max level. In the 7th year, I reached level 20, and critical hit evolved into deadly strike LV1. But eating monster meat could no longer increase my level. I guessed it was because the template level was too low, and I'd have to advance to an elite template before I could break through the cap. Just as I was worrying, the troll's appetite grew bigger and bigger. It didn't just eat the food we hunted. Sometimes it would even grab goblins as snacks and chew on them. And lately, the way it looked at me was exactly the same as the way I looked at a roasted wild boar. That was the look of someone eyeing food. In the face of this predicament, please make a choice. Choice 1. Leave the tribe and seek an opportunity to evolve. Option 2. Stay and live in constant fear. Option 3. Screw it, become the boss myself. I quickly weighed my choices. Option 2 was basically suicide. Option 3. Trolls are higher tier monsters than goblins. Even at max level, a straight-up fight would be a gamble. But if I ambushed it, with my intelligence, killing it wasn't entirely impossible. The risk was just too high. After thinking for a moment, I made my choice. System, I choose option 1, leave the goblin tribe. You chose to flee. As the goblin with the highest status aside from the troll, you slipped away successfully in the middle of the night. On your first day after leaving the tribe, you encountered a human adventurer party. They attacked without a word. Relying on your max level strength and critical hit, you wiped out the rookie team, but you were also badly wounded. Before you could drag the corpses away, a black tiger appeared behind you. You, heavily injured, were no match for it and died. Simulation over. Overall score, 37. Evaluation. As an ordinary goblin, your life could be called glorious. But as a transmigrator, you're simply a disgrace to transmigrators. Please choose a reward from the following options. Option 1. Increase level by 1, costs 5 points, can be selected repeatedly. Option 2. Increase critical hit level by 1, costs 4 points, can be selected repeatedly. I get it now. You can only choose abilities you obtained in the simulation. No life lessons or anything like that, just pure stat boosts. Nice. System, increase level by 4, increase critical hit by 4. 36 points consumed, reward granted. A surge of warmth instantly flooded my body. My frame visibly shot up, growing from 1.2 meters straight to 1.6 meters. Enough to take on 10 of my former selves. After a sharp pain in my brain, my critical hit level surged to LV5, and I also gained countless techniques for using critical hit. My stats changed too. Level 520, strength shot up to 11, and I dumped all my free attribute points into strength. One force breaks all techniques. I'm taking the path of proving the Tao through strength. I walked out of the cave to get familiar with the surroundings. The camp was full of goblin droppings, and the smell was indescribable, but my body seemed to have gotten used to it long ago. When I reached the feeding spot, more than 50 goblins were ravenously tearing into the remains of a boar carcass. And by the time I arrived, even the bones were gone. My stomach growled, and a strong sense of hunger surged up. Raw meat didn't disgust me at all. Instead, it aroused my appetite. But there was nothing left to eat, so if I wanted to fill my belly, I had to hunt for it myself. After finishing his meal, Goblo walked over and froze when he saw me. Why did you get so big? Did you eat all that shit? I almost couldn't hold it in. I didn't eat shit. Still not full? Come with me and do as I say. I picked up 2 thick wooden sticks and handed him one. This kid even knew to call me for food. I figured I'd train him up a bit. We sneaked into our usual hunting area and quickly spotted a boar about 1 meter long. Hide behind the tree, and when the boar runs over, smash it with the stick. Got it? Got it, got it. Goblin nodded frantically. I circled behind the boar and suddenly jumped out with a howl. Frightened, the boar bolted in the opposite direction. I chased hard, clearly faster than it was. Just as the boar charged past the big tree where Goblo was hiding, a wooden stick whooshed out and smashed squarely into the boar's body. The boar yelped in pain and paused, its speed dropping sharply. I seized the chance to catch up, grabbed my stick, and brought down LV5 critical hit with a vicious strike. Smack! Flesh and blood splattered everywhere, and the wooden stick snapped cleanly in two. Before the boar could even finish screaming, I shoved the broken stick into its throat and pushed hard, cutting the scream off abruptly. Goblo stared in shock. In the past, a whole group of goblins couldn't take down prey even after chasing it for ages, but the 2 of us actually brought it down with ease. I looked at the carcass and hesitated, but still didn't start a fire to roast it. The smell of roasted meat would be too strong. If it drew the troll over, that would be trouble. I tore off a pig leg and handed it to Gobro. He reached out to snatch it, but I took it back and slapped him with my other hand. Take it slowly from me. No snatching. He was stunned by the hit, looking at me aggrieved and scared, and in the end he obediently reached out and slowly took the meat. I had to teach him the rules now, so he wouldn't cause trouble later. He started gnawing on it in big bites. I rummaged through the wild boar's body and found a black crystal. Tier 1 magic crystal. Can be used for equipment, formations, etc. Consume 10 pieces to proceed to the next simulation. 10 pieces are enough for 1 simulation. At this hunting efficiency, it wouldn't take long to save up. I hugged the wild boar corpse and started eating. After reaching level 5, my appetite had grown quite a bit, but I still couldn't finish a whole boar. Then I looked at Gobro. He had already gnawed through one leg and was staring at the meat in my hand, swallowing hard. This guy was only level 1, but his appetite was almost catching up to mine. Maybe he really does have some special bloodline. I tore off a large chunk of meat and handed it over. This time he didn't dare snatch it and took it obediently. How does being full feel? Great. I've never felt this good before. From now on, follow me. Don't tell anyone about us, and I'll make sure you're full every day. He nodded frantically, his eyes full of trust. Though I'd beaten him before, I could keep him fed, and in the goblin world that was more useful than anything else. After eating, we returned to camp. 9/10 of the goblins in the cave were asleep, and the rest were just spacing out. Not a single one was training. Just as I was thinking about picking a few stupid-looking ones as underlings, movement suddenly came from the troll cave. I quickly pulled Gobro to hide. The troll lumbered out slowly and headed straight for the goblin cave, letting out a roar. All the goblins were jolted awake. The biggest one scrambled out in panic, and the others followed. The troll was very pleased with this panic and suddenly punched a few of the thinnest goblins. Bang! One punch each, flattening them outright, flesh and blood flying everywhere. The goblins were terrified out of their wits. A bunch of trash. Food has been getting scarcer lately. If you deliver so little next time, that's what will happen to you. After showing off, it swaggered off. Watching from the shadows, I felt a chill. I didn't want to spend even one more day like this, where I could be turned into a snack at any moment. I scrapped the plan to recruit underlings. The more people there are, the easier it is to expose us. I'll improve my strength on my own first. As long as I'm careful, I'll always find a chance. Gobro, let's go. Keep hunting. We returned to the hunting grounds again. After so many trips back and forth, I finally understood why, in the simulation, no humans discovered this place for 7 years. The goblins' territory lies in a huge valley, and the entrance to the valley is just blocked by a large mass of vines. Those vines grew so naturally that unless you searched extremely carefully, it would be impossible to discover the entrance to the valley. Not until midnight did Gobro take Gobro back to rest. Today's hunting went nowhere near as smoothly as he had imagined. In all this time, they had only found 2 low-level magical beasts, a poisonous snake and a wild boar. Working together, the 2 of them dealt with those 2 beasts very smoothly and obtained 2 Tier 1 magic crystals. Of course, along the way they also ran into other magical beasts, but those beasts looked extremely powerful, and from far away they had already started retreating with no intention of fighting at all. After such a long period of activity, Gobro felt his stomach getting hungry again, so on the way back, he ate the poisonous snake like spicy strips as he walked, and for the wild boar, Gobro also desperately finished off 1 leg. Gobro, meanwhile, ate 2 legs. Gobro hid the leftover carcass, planning to have it for breakfast tomorrow. The place he hid it wasn't all that concealed, and if it got stolen he wouldn't feel bad. At worst, he'd just catch another one tomorrow. After a day of effort, his experience bar had already reached 1.3%. There was still quite a bit of beast meat in his stomach that hadn't been digested yet. If it were fully digested, the experience points should be able to exceed 2%. Honestly, this leveling speed was a little faster than he had imagined. The next day, as dawn was just breaking, Gobro woke up, turned to look at Gobro, and found that he was still fast asleep. He grabbed Gobro by the shoulder and shook him hard. In just a couple of shakes, he woke Gobro right up. Gobro was instinctively about to lose his temper, but when he saw that it was Gobro who had shaken him awake, he immediately shut his mouth. Gobro asked, "Hungry?" "Gurumble." Gobro answered with his stomach, while also instantly becoming alert. "Let's go eat." The 2 of them didn't deliberately hide their movements, but there wasn't a single goblin around who got up. It was only after they walked out of the cave that Gobro accidentally stepped on a goblin's head, finally waking one up. It hurts." After shouting, the goblin opened his eyes and was about to teach the guy who had stepped on him a lesson, but as soon as he looked up, the huge Gobro appeared before his eyes. Instantly, the goblin retracted his fierce expression, becoming as obedient as a little calico cat. "Follow me, or I'll beat you," Gobro said coldly. Hearing Gobro's words, the goblin hurriedly got up and followed behind them in an extremely obedient manner. Before long, the 3 of them reached the corpse hiding spot from yesterday. After arriving here, they found that the corpses had been gnawed down to nothing but bones. Gobro didn't think much of this, but Gobro was very angry. "What's your name?" Gobro asked the newly arrived goblin. "My name is Gobri." "Good, Gobri. Let me ask you, do you want to be full?" "Yes." "If you do, then listen to me and follow me." "Why can I get full if I listen to you?" "Don't ask so much. Just do as I say, or I'll beat you." Gobri stopped talking. "Why aren't you saying anything? Didn't you say not to ask so much?" Gobro was speechless. He didn't know whether he was speechless at himself or speechless at Gobri in front of him. After that, the 3 of them began hunting in the hunting grounds. Although there were more people, their coordination didn't get much worse. Mainly because Gobro and Gobri were both very obedient. As long as he slightly threatened, communicated with them, they would very seriously carry out Gobro's orders, basically never making mistakes. Even if they did make a mistake, it didn't matter. The things they hunted were all creatures that looked very weak. This morning's hunt went exceptionally smoothly, but Gobro had been somewhat worried the whole time because he didn't have a skill to check monster levels, so up until now, he could basically only rely on instinct and the appearance of the beasts to judge how strong they were. This was actually very dangerous, but his current strength was too weak, and to survive in this beast forest full of danger, he could only take risks. By the time the morning was over, they had hunted 4 beasts, 2 rabbit beasts, a poisonous snake beast, and a wild boar. It had to be said, there were really a lot of wild boars in this valley. He thought calling this place Wild Boar Valley might not be a bad idea. After thinking it over, he took out the wild boar. "You two eat this wild boar. I'll eat the rest." Seeing Gobro give up the biggest wild boar, Gobri and Gobro were both somewhat shocked. In fact, Gobro was thinking that although the rabbit beasts and poisonous snake beasts were relatively small, yet this little bit of meat contains the magic power of an entire magical beast. By common sense, the magical power concentration in these beast meats should be higher than that of larger beasts like wild boars. So he planned to eat the least meat and gain the most magic power. Gubuli and Gubula did not know what Gobro was thinking. They only wanted to get full. After eating both rabbits and the snake, although the rabbits were quite fat, Gobro only felt about 80% full. However, he did not go and grab Gubula and the others' food. If possible, he still hoped to eat as much small-bodied magical beast meat as possible. Gubuli and Gubula had different appetites. Hers was normal. In the end, even after the two of them combined, they still did not finish this wild boar. And Gobro did not finish the leftovers either. He had them take the remaining meat with them and eat it when they got hungry. At noon, it was time for the goblins to go out hunting. They had to hunt enough food within this time so the trolls could get full. Otherwise, the trolls would get angry. Watching this mighty hunting party, Gobro had some calculations in mind. According to the current situation, every magical beast should be able to produce a magic crystal. So where did the magic crystals of those magical beasts the troll had eaten before go? He was really very curious about this. Had the troll thrown all those magic crystals away, eaten them all, or hidden them all? He felt it probably was not that it had eaten them, because just holding a magic crystal, he could already feel the violent energy inside it. If eaten directly, the harm to the body would likely outweigh the benefits. No matter how stupid the troll was, it probably would not be so foolish as to eat these magic crystals. As for the possibility of throwing them away, it was probably not very high either. After all, magic crystals were quite pretty, and at a glance they looked like good stuff. The most likely possibility was that the troll had hidden them away. If they were hidden away, then for Gobro, it would be quite an astonishing treasure trove. After all, with so many years of accumulation, Gobro found it hard to imagine just how many magic crystals were inside. Thinking that way, Gobro joined today's hunt. With him taking part, although no strategy was devised, efficiency still improved quite a bit. However, by the time it ended, several hours had already passed. Then he had several goblins deliver the largest prey to the troll. Seeing the prey delivered so early today, the troll's mood improved a lot at once. As expected, these goblins just needed a lesson. After being taught a lesson, their efficiency improved. No, in a couple of days he would have to teach them a lesson again so they would remember this feeling. Thinking this, he began to eat. The troll did not notice that in the shadows, a pair of eyes had been secretly watching him the whole time. Gobro clearly saw the troll, before eating, directly dig out the magical beast's magic crystal, then casually throw it into its cave. Magic crystals do not glow in the dark, and first-tier magic crystals are black, basically blending in with the cave, so Gobro had not noticed it before. If all the magical beast magic crystals the troll had eaten over the years were in there, then there should be at least over 1,000 first-tier magic crystals placed inside its cave. And now he could conduct one simulation by consuming just 10 first-tier magic crystals. Even if the number of magic crystals consumed in future simulations increased, it would still be enough for him to use for quite a long time. Afterward, Gobro returned to the cave and took out 10 magic crystals, planning to conduct a second simulation. During the afternoon hunt, they additionally caught 4 small magical beasts. Gobro quietly stuffed away all these small magical beasts, and no one noticed what he did. So now he had 11 first-tier magic crystals. System, begin simulation. Consume 10 first-tier magic crystals to start the second simulation. Detected 1 evaluation point left from the last simulation. Obtained random low-tier talent, green eyes, slightly increased eyesight. The evaluation points left over from the last simulation were actually useful. He had thought they would just disappear. He was quite satisfied with this system mechanism and felt that the system was fairly conscientious. It didn't directly deduct that tiny bit of points from him, but gave them to him in another form. Even though the system didn't lose out on this move, he still made a small profit, which felt great. This green eyes talent can increase eyesight, so it's useful after all. Simulation begins. Although you've only just been born, you are already the strongest goblin in the goblin tribe right now. You are very dissatisfied with the troll currently leading the goblins. and want to take him down and seize power yourself. You think this plan isn't hard to carry out, because the troll doesn't seem to have noticed yet that a goblin like you has appeared in the tribe. First year, you work hard to eat meat, practice skills, and during this year, you keep developing goblins into your subordinates. Your strength improves rapidly, and your influence expands at an astonishing pace. Second year, your level rises to 12, and your critical hit level increases to LV8. At 2.5 years, the troll disappears again for a few days. After returning, he vents his anger by killing several goblins who were born not long ago, and you keenly notice that the troll's gaze toward you lately has changed. It's the look of someone eyeing food. Facing this situation, please make your choice. Choice 1. Make a detailed plan and work with the goblins you've recruited to assassinate the troll. Choice 2. Take your goblin team and leave this tribe to find a new place to live. Choice 3. Do nothing. Is the choice showing up this fast this time? Faced with the choices, Gobro still took them very seriously. After all, the reason the last simulation ended was because he made the wrong choice. Choice 3 was impossible. Do nothing and wait for the troll to strike first? That choice was too stupid. He would rather make a mistake than do nothing. As for choice 2, leaving with the team, he actually didn't want to do that much either, because after staying here for so long, Gobro knew very well how good this location was. The monster forest was full of hidden dangers, and going out would be far too dangerous. He had to improve his own strength as much as possible in this simulation. Since 2 options had already been ruled out, there was nothing more to say. System, choose option 1. Kill the troll and become the boss yourself. The troll's gaze toward you has been getting more and more off lately, and you feel very uneasy, so you decide to strike first. To that end, you spent an entire night making an extremely detailed plan, assigning tasks to every goblin under your command. You know the goblins aren't very intelligent and are likely to make mistakes while carrying out tasks, so you made several backup plans. As long as one of these plans succeeds, your chances of success will increase greatly. But if all the steps fail, you'll accept it, because you've already done the best you could do. Time quickly reaches the afternoon, and now it's the troll's mealtime. As usual, you have the goblins under you deliver the food in front of the troll. Seeing more food than usual, the troll surprisingly doesn't blow up and immediately starts eating heartily. After only a few bites, the troll's body begins to convulse violently. You know the poison you used has taken effect and immediately give the signal. All the goblins, following your signal, launch their attack at once. Countless stones were hurled at the troll, and several goblins threw the ropes in their hands. Trapping the troll's hands and neck, several goblins above level 5 thrust their spears at the troll, while you charged straight at it and landed a critical hit on its head. After each goblin launched one attack, it immediately retreated to let another group attack, giving the troll no chance to fight back at all. The plan went even more smoothly than you had imagined, and some of it was not even needed. You killed the troll. Looking at the troll lying in a pool of blood, you fell into deep thought. You had originally thought the troll would be incredibly powerful, at least with some ultimate move like going berserk, but the troll was far weaker than you had imagined. Maybe it was also just a very weak existence among trolls, which was why it came to be the leader of your group of goblins. After dealing with the troll, you became the leader of all the tribes. Unlike when the troll was the chief, after becoming chief, you implemented strict militarized management within the territory. Every goblin had to undergo rigorous training every day, but when it came to food, you never treated them harshly. The goblins you had long since trained had no objections to your management, but some young goblins were very dissatisfied with you. But through physical means and patient communication, you slowly won over these young goblins. In the 3rd year, the strength of the entire goblin camp increased dramatically. Many goblins had levels above 5. The fastest growing was Gobla. His level had already reached 11, making him the 2nd strongest in the goblin camp, and he was utterly loyal to you. And as the leader of the tribe, you enjoyed the best resources of the entire tribe, and you were also the hardest working goblin in the whole tribe. That year, your level increased to 17. Critical hit reached max level, and you successfully comprehended Fatal Strike LV1. In addition, because of daily rigorous training, you learned the skill Strong LV1. Because of your strength, your body was much sturdier than that of an ordinary goblin, and your physical condition far surpassed that of the average goblin. You became the handsome guy among goblins. Many goblin females began pursuing you madly, but your aesthetics had not changed, so you rejected their advances and insisted on not looking in the mirror. In the 4th year, your level broke through to 20, Fatal Strike reached LV2, and Strong reached LV6. You vaguely sensed that, To advance from the normal template to the elite template, it might be related to skills. Mastering more skills, or raising skill levels to a certain degree, could allow evolution into the elite rank. After realizing this, you began making various attempts. Previously, through continuous training, you acquired the skill strong, and you thought that perhaps through a large amount of real combat, you could gain combat-related skills. In the 5th year, you did not advance to the elite template, but through extensive training and real combat, your strong level increased to LV max, and fatal strike increased to LV4. You felt delighted by the improvement in strength, but now you were troubled by other matters. As the goblin tribe grew stronger, the monsters in the valley were declining at an astonishing rate. Your tribesmen reported this to you, and you also realized that the goblin tribe had become too powerful and was seriously affecting the ecological balance in the valley, so you began to further specialize the goblins within the tribe. The tribe gained new occupations such as herding, farming, and fishing. Some goblins who did not like fighting could obtain a certain amount of food through this labor, while those who liked fighting became combat personnel. Your tribe kept getting better and better. In the 6th year, through extensive real combat, you acquired a special skill, Battle Instinct LV1, and Strong did not evolve into a new skill. The level of critical strike has increased to LV5. You can feel that you seem to have already touched the threshold of an elite level creature, but you're always missing something. You can sense it. The thing you're missing is not in yourself, but in some outside force, though you don't know what that force is. In the 7th year, your strength increased a little, but the skill levels did not change in any way. This year you tried all kinds of methods. At first you thought the breakthrough opportunity was in magic crystals, so you mustered your courage and ate a large amount of magic crystals. The violent energy rampaged through your body, leaving you badly wounded. Clearly, swallowing magic crystals wouldn't let you break through, so you planned to try other methods. During this period while your injuries had not yet healed, a human adventurer party accidentally entered the valley. Without you lifting a finger, your tribesmen easily wiped out the entire adventurer party. Your tribesmen told you about it. After learning of this, you began to worry about the tribe's future. Although the valley is hidden, it is not completely impossible to discover. This time it was only an ordinary adventurer party, but what if a stronger one appears in the future? What should be done then? In the face of such a situation, please make your choice. Option 1. After recovering from your injuries, move out of the valley and lead the tribe to find a new habitat. Option 2. This time it was just an accident. It's fine to keep going like this. Option 3. Set up tight sentries around the valley and keep track of the valley's situation at all times. Option 2 definitely won't do. Doing nothing is not your style. As for option 1, going out to find a new habitat may not necessarily lead to one better than this place. Option 3 is more reliable. Since the crisis has already been handled now, it's only natural to come up with the corresponding countermeasures, and it also suits his personality. System. Choose option 3. After discovering that humans had intruded into the valley, your sense of crisis became extremely strong, and you immediately trained a group of scouts. You placed incomparable importance on these scouts, even more than on the combat units, personally teaching them how to scout step by step. Although you weren't a professional, after half a year, you still managed to build a decent scout force. In the 8th year, a human wrapped head to toe in armor discovered the scouts conducting surveillance in the shadows. Following the trail, he found the valley. The man wasn't very strong, but he seemed extremely good at dealing with goblins. He wiped out the entire tribe by himself, and you died. Simulation ended. Overall score, 93. As an ordinary goblin, you are a great clan chief, worthy of being recorded in history. As a transmigrator, you are a relatively failed one, unable even to beat a native human. Please choose one reward from the following options. Option 1. Increase level by 1, cost 10 points. Repeatable option 2. Increase critical strike level by 1, cost 4 points. Repeatable option 3. Obtain the skill Strong LV1, cost 20 points. Option 4. Obtain the skill Battle Instinct LV1, cost 50 points. Option 5. Obtain the talent Green Eyes, cost 5 points. Seeing that the evaluation points required to increase skill levels had gone up, Gobro wasn't too surprised. After all, his level had risen now, so the cost would surely rise too. System. Choose options 3, 4, and 5, and use the rest to increase critical strike level. Obtain skill Strong LV1. Obtain skill Battle Instinct LV1. Obtain talent Green Eyes. Critical strike level increased to LV9. Hearing the system's successive notification sounds, Gobro's body visibly changed. His originally thin limbs became somewhat thicker. His big belly also disappeared, and the entire goblin looked much more coordinated. At the same time, his eyes became much clearer. Just by looking at his eyes, anyone would think that whoever had them should be a handsome guy. At the same time, he vaguely felt that something new had appeared in his mind, and he guessed that this should be the effect brought by battle instinct. The reason he didn't raise his level this time was because even if he did level up now, he still had no way to break through to elite rank. Moreover, he guessed that if his level increased, the magic crystal cost for simulation would probably also increase. Thinking of this, he directly asked, "System, how much magic crystal will the next simulation consume?" The next simulation requires 25 first-tier magic crystals. Hearing the system's prompt, Gobro was somewhat helpless, still thinking of exploiting a loophole in the system. Thinking that by not raising his level and only increasing his skill levels, he could spend fewer magic crystals in the next simulation. Now it seemed the system wouldn't let him exploit any loopholes at all. The number of simulations also couldn't be accumulated, and as long as his strength increased, the cost of the next simulation would rise. How ruthless. But collecting 25 magic crystals now was not difficult for him at all. However, thinking about how he had died in this simulation, Gobro felt a bit speechless. Perhaps if he hadn't formed that reconnaissance unit, the valley wouldn't have been discovered. Perhaps among those three options, doing nothing was the correct choice. Then he glanced at the troll's cave, and a greedy look surfaced in Gobro's eyes. With his current strength, he should only need a little trick, and he could kill that lazy glutton of a troll, then claim all of its magic crystals for himself. But very quickly, Gobro restrained this thought. Although there was a high chance he could now take down that troll, this was the real world, not the simulation world, and there was no room for even the slightest mistake. He should wait until after the next simulation, and then kill the troll. For now, he should first get used to the body's capabilities. Thinking this, he left the camp, planning to see how things would go if he hunted alone now. He hadn't leveled up, but he now had new skills, and his crit level had increased too, so efficiency should improve quite a bit. Once outside the camp, Gobro found that his field of vision had become much wider. Although Azure Eyes was said to only improve sight a little, that little improvement was actually very noticeable. The world before his eyes was much clearer now, and with a sweep of his gaze, he discovered quite a few small magical beasts hiding in the grass. Normally, he would certainly try his best to hunt these small magical beasts, but now, he intended to hunt some slightly stronger magical beasts to test his own strength. He locked his attention onto a magical beast not far away that looked very similar to a wild dog. This wild dog magical beast was 1.3 meters long, which counted as fairly large among low-level magical beasts, and it was a carnivorous magical beast, so its strength probably wouldn't be weak. After locking onto the target, he began quietly advancing toward the wild dog's position, perhaps because of strengthened and battle instinct. While moving, he felt his body become much lighter, and while sneaking, the noise he made became much smaller as well. It wasn't until he was only about 10 meters away from the wild dog that the wild dog finally realized something was wrong. But by the time it realized something was wrong, it was already too late. When it raised its head, it only felt a searing pain in its neck, and then it completely lost consciousness. Gobro used his LV9 crit to precisely hit the wild dog's neck. The tremendous force directly smashed the other side's neck to pieces, and the dog's head just tilted weakly to one side. Seeing this scene, Gobro began comparing himself with the troll. Yesterday, the troll could crush a goblin with one punch, but those goblins were newborns, and their bones hadn't even fully grown yet. Very fragile. But the wild dog he had just smashed to death was different. At a glance, it was clearly an adult magical beast, and its bones were extremely hard. Although he had smashed the relatively fragile neck, it was still much stronger than a goblin that had only just been born a few days ago. His LV9 critical hit was definitely stronger than the troll's, but critical hits have skill cooldowns, so they can't be used as normal attacks. So overall, his strength should now be on par with the troll's. Thinking of this, he decided to continue hunting magical beasts, and this time he didn't plan to bring Gaburi or Gobula along. With his current strength, solo hunting was too efficient. He no longer cared about magical beast meat. What mattered most was quickly increasing his strength. As he thought this, he kept searching for the next target. 3 hours later, looking at the 5 magical beast corpses in front of him, Gobro was very satisfied. Because of his increased strength, his stamina was much better than before, but he also noticed a problem. Why were the magical beasts in this valley all so weak? From the time he was born until now, aside from that troll, the strongest magical beast he had encountered was the wild dog he had smashed to death with one stick. which shouldn't be the case. Was he just lucky, or was there some special existence in this valley? Thinking this, he began to enjoy today's spoils. Because he was stronger, his appetite had also increased somewhat, and now the experience bar had risen to 4%. With his appetite increased, the more magical beast meat he ate, the faster his level would rise. While eating, he pondered why the valley was like this. Thinking of this, he looked toward where the troll was. Compared with the other creatures in the valley, the troll's strength seemed a bit too great. Perhaps the troll would know why the valley was in such a state. Thinking of this, he decided that before obtaining the next simulation, he would also observe the troll and see why it could live so out of place in this valley. At night, he didn't continue hunting. After all, he had been active all day and had expended a lot of stamina, so he secretly watched the troll's cave from the shadows until midnight. But the troll's cave only emitted the sound of snoring. Nothing else happened. Over the next 3 days, he hunted during the day, watched at night, and only had a small amount of time to rest. By now, he had already accumulated 19 first-tier magic crystals. With 6 more, he could perform the next simulation. Tonight was the last night he would observe the troll. If tonight the troll was still the same as yesterday, only knowing how to sleep soundly, then tomorrow, after collecting all the magic crystals, he would kill this guy. As in the previous few days, Gobro kept watch until midnight. Just as he was about to leave to rest, the snoring inside the troll's cave actually stopped. Was it waking up? Waking up at this hour? Something's off. The next moment, he saw the troll come out of the cave carrying a pile of magic crystals. There were at least 100 magic crystals in the troll's hands, and Gobro's eyes nearly popped out. He almost rushed in to snatch them, but reason still defeated impulse. He wanted to see what this troll was going to do with so many magic crystals. Could it be that he was hiding all of them away? Realizing that he might be about to discover the troll's secret stash, Gobro grew excited inside. He followed the troll from a distance like that, and the troll didn't notice at all. After walking for quite a while, Gobro felt something was off. Had this troll hidden its little stash too far away? They'd been walking for half an hour and still hadn't reached their destination. He realized the troll must be hiding some secret. In the end, following the troll, he came to the deepest part of the valley. There was a tranquil lake here, and under the reflection of the moonlight, it looked breathtakingly beautiful. Then the troll placed all the magic crystals in its hands in front of the lake. Then, cautiously, it said, "Master, these are this month's magic crystals." As soon as it finished speaking, a ripple suddenly appeared on the once calm surface of the lake. Then, a black tentacle emerged from the water. The instant Gobro saw that tentacle, he felt a wave of tingling horror crawl over his scalp, because its surface was covered with dense suction cups, and inside each suction cup were dozens of long, yellowish teeth, mixed with thick, viscous mucus, which was truly unpleasant to look at. After seeing the tentacle, the troll was also so frightened that it didn't dare move, standing obediently in place. Not long after, the tentacle swept up all the magic crystals on the shore and dragged them into the lake. The surface of the lake returned to calm. After noticing this, the troll also breathed a sigh of relief, then quickly left there, and ran back toward its camp. After witnessing the whole scene, Gobro widened his eyes but made no sound. He knew that if he disturbed that monster in the lake, he would be dead for sure. Gobro also didn't dare stay there any longer and chose to leave. By now he had some guesses about the strange situation in the valley. If nothing unexpected happened, the more powerful magical beasts in the valley must have all been eaten by the monster in the lake. And the reason the troll had never died was probably because it paid protection money to that monster every month, those magic crystals, so the monster hadn't killed the troll. But since there was such a monster in the valley, why in the previous simulations, even though he clearly killed the troll and didn't pay protection money to the monster, was he still not killed by it? Could it be that something had happened to the monster? Or perhaps it was only staying here to recover from injuries and would leave once it healed. Various guesses flashed through his mind, but no matter what, he just needed to run a few simulations. As long as he simulated enough times, he would eventually obtain some information about the monster in the lake. Besides, the troll had just said it delivered magic crystals once a month, so it looked like he still had a full 30 days. Over these 30 days, who knew how many simulations he could perform? By then, his strength might even be enough to completely overpower that monster. The next day, Gobla and Gobbly wolfed down the food Gobro gave them. Although Gobro no longer took them out hunting, he did assign them a certain amount of training, and they trained every day according to Gobro's training plan. Although the training was very hard, the two of them were fairly simple-minded, so they always strictly followed Gobro's training plan. Gobro watched this from the shadows and was very satisfied. Even when he wasn't around, the two of them hadn't been lazy. Over these past 2 days, he had basically figured out these goblins' temperaments. Goblins are born able to understand the language of monsters, and these goblins, who look about 1.2 to 1.3 meters tall, are actually all under 1 year old. Their minds are very simple, so they're easy to educate. Of course, he had only been training them for a few days. If it went on for a long time, these goblins might go through a rebellious phase, but Gobro was confident that their rebellious phase wouldn't last more than a day. At dusk, watching the sun slowly disappear on the horizon, Gobro did not hesitate. System, begin simulation. Consume 25 first-tier magic crystals to start the third simulation. Detected 2 evaluation points remaining from the last simulation. Obtained random low-level talent, abundant body hair. Your body hair will grow abnormally luxuriant, ensuring you are forever free from the risk of baldness. Hearing the talent he had obtained this time, Gobro felt a little amused. Abundant body hair didn't seem to be of much use, and it would even become a stumbling block on his path to becoming stronger. In the first year, you are the strongest goblin in the tribe, and you learn the secret within the valley. Originally planning to deal with the ogre in the near future, you decide to postpone it by 1 year, because you know the lazy ogre's rate of strength growth definitely can't match yours. After 1 year, you will be able to kill the ogre with ease. 1 month later, you follow behind the ogre, sneaking around to check on the monster in the lake, and discover that the monster in the lake is still alive. You decide to continue lying low and cultivate quietly. In the second year, your strength surges dramatically. Your level rises to LV11. Critical hit evolves into deadly strike LV1. An enhancement level increases to LV5. Now it is time for your plan to begin. As soon as the monster in the lake dies, you plan to immediately kill the ogre. 6 months later, as usual, you secretly follow the ogre. However, after arriving at the depths of the canyon this time, the monster in the lake still does not appear. The ogre waits here for an entire night, but the monster in the lake never appears. However, the ogre does not leave, and even waits here for another 3 days. It seems that after confirming the monster in the lake has disappeared, the ogre excitedly runs back toward the camp. So it disappeared at this time? That explains why the ogre had inexplicably vanished for a few days before. It turns out the monster in the lake had disappeared. When the ogre runs back to camp, you do not rush to kill it, but instead carefully study the lake. Such a terrifying monster couldn't have just disappeared all of a sudden. You want to know why it vanished so abruptly, so you decide to investigate. Carefully, you move toward the lake, and gradually, you arrive at the lakeside. You carefully examine the lake. It is eerily quiet, and you faintly feel uneasy. Gradually, you see a blurry shadow with many tentacles at the bottom of the water, and after a few seconds, you finally react. Then, somewhat flustered, you flee back to camp. That monster did not leave, it merely fell asleep. It is not dead, and one day it will still wake up. You run halfway and catch up to the ogre, who is racing along excitedly. Because it has gone 3 days without sleep, the ogre is in poor mental condition now. You realize this is an opportunity. You pull out the wooden stick from behind your back and smash it hard at the ogre's head. Because the ogre is still in an excited state, it does not notice you behind it. The deadly strike hits the ogre's head dead on. And under your terrifying strength, the ogre's head explodes like a watermelon. Having easily dealt with the ogre, you are not very excited, because you know your strength had long since surpassed the ogre's. If not for the monster in the lake, the ogre would never have lived until now. In the third year, you train diligently and develop the tribe. In the fourth year, your level once again reaches a bottleneck, and deadly strike reaches LV5. Strong body upgrades to steel body LV1, and battle instinct reaches LV3. Although you are still an ordinary goblin, your height has already reached 2 meters, and your body is strong. The hardness of your skin is comparable to steel. Just standing there, you exude an overwhelming pressure, and ordinary creatures are unable to harm you. In the same year, an elite wolf-like creature was born in the valley. This was your first time encountering an elite creature. After it came to your tribe, it slaughtered goblins indiscriminately. In order to stop it, you stepped up and fought it. Unexpectedly, you won the battle. With the body of an ordinary creature, you defeated an elite creature. You realized that your victory was inseparable from your powerful skills, but even so, you fell into a near-death state. You ate every last bit of this wild wolf's meat. This was the first time you had ever enjoyed the flesh of an elite creature. With every bite, you could feel the energy within your body surging. You realized that this might be the key to breaking through to an elite creature. To advance to an elite creature, You must devour the flesh and blood of an elite creature. A day later, you completely digested the wolf meat. You began to think about how to obtain the flesh and blood of elite creatures. Staying in the valley seemed like one way. Since the first elite creature had been born, a second one would be born. It was only a matter of time. But you were unwilling to wait, because in a few more years, that man would come. If you kept living such a peaceful life, you could not guarantee that you would be able to defeat him 4 years later. For yourself, and also for the continuation of the tribe, you called Gobro to your side and had him manage the tribe properly, while you chose to leave the valley and search the outside world for elite creatures. 3 days after leaving the valley, you quickly encountered a second elite creature. The elite creature you encountered this time was a lizard man. Because you did not know how strong the other side was, you hid in the shadows to observe it, intending to ambush it when the lizard man let his guard down. Unfortunately, your trail was discovered by the lizard man, and you had no choice but to fight him head-on. The lizardman's speed was much faster than yours, and he took the initiative to attack. Your reaction speed was also very fast. You counterattacked at once. Your attacks landed on each other simultaneously. The lizardman's claws only lightly pierced your body, but your wooden club almost smashed the lizardman's bones apart. The lizard man was shaken by your terrifying strength and chose to flee. He ran, you chased. Although the lizardman's attributes were far higher than your base attributes, under the boost of steel body, your stamina was actually better than the lizardman's. Before long, you caught up with the lizard man. Seeing that he could not escape, the lizard man chose to fight to the death with you. His eyes turned blood red. His body swelled up a size. You could feel that the lizard man was extremely dangerous now, but you had no choice but to fight head-on. After a fierce life and death struggle, you killed him at the cost of severe injuries. After killing the lizard man, you immediately enjoyed your spoils. Fighting the lizard man this time made you realize even more how important skills are. If it were not for steel body, it would have been impossible to defeat the lizard man so easily. After consuming the lizardman's flesh and blood, you unexpectedly obtained a trace of lizardman bloodline and acquired the lizardman's skill. Agility LV1, greatly increasing your speed. However, your injuries did not improve much, but you still successfully escaped the scene. 3 days later, you successfully returned to the valley, choosing to rest and heal before going back out to continue hunting. In the 4th year, during this year, by constantly devouring the flesh and blood of elite creatures, your body finally began to evolve. And it is one of the most powerful evolutionary directions among all forms of evolution, primordial evolution. This is an evolution that can only be achieved by devouring monster flesh, possessing powerful skills, and undergoing despair-inducing training. The process of evolution was different from what you had imagined. There was almost no pain, only an indescribably pleasurable feeling. You could feel your body getting better every second, and 1 day later, you completed the evolution. After evolution, your height reached 2.5 meters, and you evolved into a greater goblin. A normal goblin can barely reach your knees. You finally broke free from the limits of ordinary creatures, with your attributes greatly increased. At the same time, in that instant of evolution, you also comprehended new skills, Swift LV1, Slow Regeneration LV1, and gained a new talent, Small Stomach. In the 5th year, you trained hard, and your strength increased slightly. In the 6th year, under your cultivation, Kabla advanced into an elite-level creature. In the 7th year, a human adventurer party came to your territory. Without you lifting a finger, Kabla easily dealt with them. In the 8th year, that man came to your territory again, and this time you were already well prepared to welcome his arrival. Your strength far exceeded the man's, but he seemed to be an expert at hunting goblins. Despite being at an absolute disadvantage in both numbers and quality, he actually used the weapons on his body to kill most of the goblins in the tribe, including Kabla and Kabli, and ultimately, with you injured. Only after the tribe suffered more than half casualties did you kill the man. After the war ended, you looked at the corpses of your kin all over the ground and fell into unprecedented fury. You comprehended the skill frenzy LV1. 3 days later, when you woke again, you felt a strong sense of weakness. At the same time, you discovered that not a single goblin from the entire tribe had survived. Although you had no memory at all, you vaguely sensed why this had happened, and you regretted it deeply. You were sad for several days. Although your heart was still filled with pain, you understood that you could not continue to be so dispirited. You left the outskirts of the monster forest and went a little deeper inside. In the 16th year, your level increased to LV30, and the proficiency of all skills also rose to max level. you discovered that LV30 seemed to have reached the bottleneck for elite-level creatures. Continuing to hunt elite-level creatures didn't seem to have much effect, so you decided to change your target and hunt creatures even stronger than elite-level ones. In order to find a stronger target, you chose to continue deeper into the monster forest. As you expected, you soon encountered a monster above elite level. You chose to ambush it. Although you seized the initiative, the opponent's strength far exceeded your imagination. In the end, even after using Frenzy, you only managed to perish together with the other side. You died. The simulation ended. Overall score, 281. As an ordinary goblin, you could have led the tribe to glory, but in the end you became a tyrant that destroyed the tribe. As a transmigrator, you are a relatively failed transmigrated. Please choose one reward from the following options. Option 1. Increase level by 1, cost 10 points. Can be selected repeatedly. Option 2. Increase critical hit level by 1, cost 10 points. Then spend another 50 points to obtain a fatal strike. Option 3. Obtain skill swift LV1. Cost 80 points. Option 4. Obtain skill slow regeneration LV1. Cost 80 points. Option 5. Obtain talent small stomach. Cost 50 points. Option 6. Obtain skill frenzy. Cost 300 points. After seeing these 6 options, Gobro felt speechless for a moment. System, what the hell? I can't even afford frenzy, so why are you listing it? There are only 281 points in total. Where am I supposed to conjure up those 19 points from? Option 7. Obtain primordial evolution. Cost 5,000 points. Note, after purchasing this item, evolution will automatically begin at level 20. Upon hearing the silent system speak again, it was Gobro's turn to fall silent. He really wanted primitive evolution, but he truly couldn't afford it. Turns out the system still had some conscience. It deliberately hid the fact that primitive evolution could also be purchased. Bringing out Berserk was probably meant to motivate him. So, I was wrong, system. I shouldn't have cursed at you. While thinking this, he bought the items needed this time. System, upgrade critical hit to fatal strike, and also buy swift, small stomach, and slow regeneration, and finally use the last 10 points to level up. The 281 points were spent down to just 1 point, just enough for the next talent draw. The talent this time was really of no use, so the system couldn't even be bothered to list it. After receiving this system reward, Gobro's body began to undergo a drastic change. It felt as if worms were writhing around inside him, and the muscles on the surface kept rising and falling. After a full minute, the intense pain finally began to fade. Looking at Gobro again, his build had become much more sturdy and muscular, and he was no longer the 3-head-tall body he had before, but a 4-head-tall form. He could be said to look much more pleasant to the eye. However, Gobro still didn't choose to look in a mirror. Before becoming the high-level handsome brother goblin, he would rather die than look in one. And after obtaining this reward, Gobro also knew that his own strength should now have surpassed the troll's. After all, he had far too many skills. He was thinking, maybe he could replace the troll and go feed the monster in the lake, so that the monster wouldn't kill him. Once this thought appeared in his mind, it wouldn't go away. He decided to try it next time he simulated. System, how many magic crystals are needed for the next simulation? The next simulation requires 41st tier magic crystals. 41st tier magic crystals? That doesn't seem like too many. With his current strength, he should be able to gather 41st tier magic crystals very quickly. But the density of magical beasts in the valley wasn't very high right now, so collecting a sizable number of magic crystals there would still be somewhat difficult. So now he was considering whether he should leave the valley first. But that thought only flashed through his mind for an instant before he rejected it himself. As the saying goes, in the real world, stability comes first. He could suitably hide his strength. Besides, magic crystals were still available in another place, and quite a few at that. After glancing at the troll's cave, although the troll went to offer tribute to the monster in the lake every month, he could see there were still quite a lot of magic crystals in the troll's cave. These were all magic crystals collected day and night by his fellow clansmen around him, and it absolutely wouldn't do to let the troll waste them like that. Suddenly, a bold idea formed in Gobro's mind. Perhaps he could subdue this troll, take all of his magic crystals, and as for the magic crystals to be handed over to the monster in the lake in the future, let the troll go hunt for them instead. Given the troll's strength, hunting 4 or 5 magical beasts a day would be completely no problem. Thinking of this, Gobro immediately sprang into action and walked toward the troll's cave. At this moment, the troll was fast asleep, and by the time Gobro entered his cave, the troll still hadn't noticed him. Seeing this, Gobro, who had originally planned to beat the troll up first, and then snatched the magic crystals, was stunned for a moment. Then he walked toward the pile of magic crystals in the troll's cave. Just as he was about to ball a pile of magic crystals and leave, he glanced back at the troll snoring away and hesitated for a moment, but still didn't just take the crystals. Instead, he came before the troll. Because he had no intention of hiding at all, and made some noise while walking, the troll also gradually woke up in a daze. However, the moment the troll woke up, he saw a palm growing larger in front of his face. By the time he reacted, the slap had already landed hard on his cheek. Smack! The troll's big head was slapped to the side with a smack. Right after waking up, he got a huge slap, and at that moment the emotion of shock in the troll had already surpassed pain. When he reacted and tried to fight back, Gobro kicked him in the chest with a fatal blow. Intense pain came from his chest, and as he struggled to get up and retaliate, Gobro's hand was already around his throat. Move again, and I'll break your neck. The cold words, combined with Gobro's sinister aura, immediately scared the troll into submission. He knew he was no match for Gobro, so he did not continue resisting and only looked at him fearfully. Seeing that the troll no longer resisted, Gobro was very satisfied. The troll in front of him was actually only around level 8 or 9 in strength. His height was not very impressive either, only about 1.89 meters. Among trolls, he was absolutely the equivalent of a shorty, so Gobro guessed. This guy was probably just a normal template too, and being so lazy, his skill level definitely wasn't high either. After quite a while, Gobro said, "From today on, I'm the boss of the clan. You just behave yourself every day and go hunt monsters with me? Understand?" Understood, understood. Seeing that the troll's attitude was fairly decent, Gobro continued. "From now on, you must hunt at least 5 monsters every day. You can do whatever you want with the monster meat, but all the magic crystals must be given to me. Understand?" After he spoke, the troll did not respond. "What? You're dissatisfied?" "And no, I'm not dissatisfied, it's just what? Just how many is 5? The troll asked cautiously. Hearing the troll's question, Gobro almost blacked out. It took Gobro a full half-hour to finally teach the troll what 5 meant. Then he came to the cave entrance of the goblins and said to the troll, "Call them all out." Auror. The troll let out a few strange cries. Hearing this familiar sound, the goblins who had been sleeping soundly hurriedly got up and ran out from inside the cave. As soon as they came out of the cave, the goblins saw the troll and Gobro standing beside him. Quite a few goblins stared at Gobro with shining eyes. Although Gobro's appearance was currently extremely terrible. In fact, in the eyes of the goblins, he was already an extremely rare handsome guy. Looking at these ugly, infatuated faces before him, Gobro cleared his throat and then said, "My name is Gobro. From today on, I'm the boss of the clan. All of you, including the troll, will listen to me from now on. Whatever I tell you to do, you do it," Gobro said. Below him, Gobro and Gobli were both shocked. Although they had vaguely realized that Gobro was very powerful, they hadn't expected even the troll to submit to him. "Did you understand? If you understand, say yes." Gobro suddenly roared. "Yes," and dozens of unenergetic voices came over. After receiving their response, Gobro was very satisfied, then said to Gobli, "Gobli, from now on, you'll take half the goblins and carry out the training in the territory that I normally have you do. Gobro, take the other half of the goblins to hunt. I will distribute the monster meat you hunt." "Yes," to Gobro and Gobli replied. Just after taking command of the clan, Gobro issued a series of orders to his subordinates. Intimidated by his tyranny, the goblins who had still been somewhat asleep immediately sprang into action. After arranging the goblins, Goblo turned his gaze to the ogre. Under Goblo's stare, the troll muttered uneasily, unable to suppress his fear. However, Gobro did not make things difficult for the troll. After confirming that the troll understood what 5 heads meant, he told him to hunt near the territory. Although the troll had previously put on a rather foolish display, it was still possible that he would report his presence to that lake monster, so Gobro would not allow the troll to stray too far away from him. Once he exceeded a certain distance, he would immediately kill the troll, then lead the tribe to migrate out of the valley. After arranging the troll, he himself occupied the troll's cave. To be honest, the troll's cave was much larger than the goblin's living cave, and also much more comfortable, though the sanitation was poor, with leftover bones scattered everywhere. He naturally would not clean up this garbage himself, so he called over a few goblins from among those gobli I was training. "You few, throw all of this stuff out. When you're done, this is for you to eat." As he spoke, Gobro took out a giant wild rabbit from behind him. The instant they saw the rabbit, the eyes of the 3 goblins all began to glow green. They hurriedly started cleaning up the trash left by the troll, while Gobro himself. Then he started counting the remaining magic crystals. 2 minutes later, Gobro had finished counting them all. In total, there were 128 magic crystals left, which made Gobro frown. How did so few magic crystals remain? It seemed the tribute the troll usually paid to the monsters in the lake was a bit too much. Without any hesitation, he immediately began the fourth simulation. Simulation begins, consuming 40 magic crystals. Detected 1 evaluation point remaining from the previous run. A random talent was obtained, long arms. Your arms have become a bit longer than those of ordinary goblins. In the 4th year, you evolve into an elite great goblin. All skill levels also receive a significant boost, and under your leadership the tribe has become very powerful. The goblin tribe now has a relatively elite army, and in areas such as animal husbandry, agriculture, medical care, there has also been initial development. Moreover, the tribe is growing at an astonishing rate, and you know that if this continues, the valley will sooner or later be unable to contain you. You must find a new migration site for the tribe to. Seeing this, Gobro also grew tense, because through the previous 3 simulations, he could sense that status was also part of raising evaluation points. If last time he hadn't gone berserk and killed all the goblins in the valley, the evaluation points he obtained last time would probably have been even higher. It is not impossible to buy Frenzy outright. You did not choose to relocate immediately, because the valley can still accommodate you for a while. The only thing you are worried about is when the monster in the lake will wake up. You can sense that the strength of the monster in the lake should far exceed elite level, and may even be far above the level beyond elite. The reason it has remained in this valley is probably due to some special reason. In the 5th year, your strength increased significantly, and you found a relocation site that was relatively suitable. That was a marshland. Although a swamp is not the most suitable place for you to survive, goblins have extremely strong survival abilities and can live in most environments. You set your sights on this place, not only because of its living conditions. Most importantly, this place is sufficiently hidden, safe, and not lacking in food. But you are not the only one who has set their sights on this place. A lizardman tribe had also set its sights on this land, and the swamp was very suitable for lizardmen to live in. They would never give up this place. During one survey of the swamp, you ran into 2 ordinary lizardmen and 1 elite lizardman. You fought them. Although both sides were elite level, the opponent was like a toy in your hands, with just 1 punch. You showed the lizardmen the truth of this world. After dealing with the 3 lizardmen, you continued scouting this territory and soon discovered that only a sparse number of lizardmen were living here, and there weren't many of them. Your tribe could easily deal with these guys. You knew the importance of striking quickly, so you immediately went back and brought the goblin army here. Without suffering any casualties, you wiped out all the lizardmen here. However, you only had the army carry the lizardmen's corpses back and did not immediately occupy the swamp, because you felt the lizardman tribe should not consist of only this many lizardmen. These may have been only the advance force. Just as you expected, after eliminating that batch of lizardmen, more lizardmen soon arrived in the swamp, and their numbers were much greater. From your observations, if a direct conflict broke out, the tribe would likely suffer heavy casualties, so you decided to assassinate these lizardmen from the shadows. You began acting alone, constantly assassinating lizardmen in secret, because lizardman meat is very good, rich in protein, and you gradually developed a fondness for lizardman meat. As time passed, security in the swamp also became tighter, and you almost never found any lizardmen alone. However, through this period of assassinations, the number of lizardmen in the swamp had already dropped significantly. You understood that even if both sides were to fight now, there would not be too many casualties. What's more, the goblins in your territory already numbered 800 just in the army alone, nearly 10 times the current lizardman tribe. Even without reducing the lizardmen's numbers, you would have one originally, and now it was even less of a problem. Without any hesitation, you led your army in an attack on the swamp. Originally, you thought that by bringing the army to bear and then sending a representative over to negotiate, you might be able to directly absorb the lizardman tribe, but this bunch of hotheads wasn't afraid at all, and even took the initiative to launch an attack on you. The lizardman's leader was a top-tier, elite-level powerhouse, but it was no match for you. Like the other elite creatures, although its level was above yours, its skill levels and number of skills were far fewer than yours, so naturally, it was utterly crushed by you. And in less than 10 moves, the lizardman leader was left mentally stunned by you. After 30 moves, the lizardman leader was repeatedly making serious mistakes, After 50 moves, you pierced the lizardman leader's throat with a claw, and it fell heavily to the ground. You ultimately won this ward. At night, you enjoyed a feast of lizardman meat. In that meal, you ate a large amount of elite lizardman flesh, and some changes appeared in your body. Fine scales appeared on your skin. You lay in your cave for 3 days. During these 3 days, you carefully felt the changes in your body. It was a very strange feeling. Your body seemed to be being compressed, deformed, and pulled apart, while your strength was steadily becoming stronger. You were in pain, yet happy. After 3 days, you left the cave. Although your appearance had changed dramatically, Gobla and Gobly still recognized you at first glance. Breathing in the fresh air, you feel better than ever before, because your body has undergone a beneficial mutation and transformed into a frenzied greater goblin, while also gaining the new skill Frenzy LV1. Unlike Berserk, after becoming frenzied you still retain your rationality. The only difference is that the boost isn't as exaggerated as Berserk. Although you still haven't broken through to elite rank, you notice that your level cap seems to have increased. And besides the level cap, your strength and agility have improved greatly, making you much stronger. In the 6th year, you worked hard to cultivate yourself while also devoting yourself to developing the tribe. More and more elite goblins gradually appeared within the tribe, and you also discovered that the simplest way to evolve is to consume the magic crystal of an elite class creature, but after ordinary creatures eat it. There are 2 outcomes. One is instant death, the other is successfully withstanding that violent energy and advancing. The success rate is about half that. Many outstanding goblins died through this method while evolving. You felt very heartbroken, but soon you came to terms with it. It's hard for them to evolve into elite goblins through primal evolution like you did, because they don't have a system, and even in a lifetime, it's difficult for them to reach that level. So you let it go. Evolution is, after all, defying heaven to change your fate. How could there be no risk at all? A 50% success rate is already very high, but you don't intend to give up just like that. There must be other relatively easy and low-risk methods. In the 7th year, you successfully found a new evolution method. Throw a goblin that has reached level 20 into water. Then add 3 elite class magic crystals and a red mushroom to soak together. And there is an 80% chance of obtaining an elite class goblin. There is a 20% chance of obtaining an ordinary goblin that can never advance to elite class. This is the best method you have found so far, but these 2 methods have 2 flaws. First, this method involves tremendous pain. The energy released by the 3 elite class magic crystals is extremely intense. Although it is diluted by water and the red mushroom, many goblins still cannot endure it, greatly reducing the goblin success rate. The second is that this red mushroom is extremely rare, found only in relatively deep areas of the magical beast forest. You tried to cultivate it, but it failed every time. In the 8th year, your level rose to 35. Only then did you learn that the level cap for beneficial mutations is 5 levels higher than that of unmutated creatures, which is undoubtedly a huge advantage. You once could not defeat creatures above elite class, but now this 5-level advantage gives you confidence that, without dying, you can kill creatures much stronger than you.